I'm Katie Lucas from the Cowboy Channel on a ranch out near Jacksonville, Texas, owned by the Cavenders family. The Cavenders name is synonymous with the Western world, with over 90 stores across the United States. But you may not know the story of its humble beginnings, started by James Cavender, who began his retail career with a small-town burger joint. Joe Cavender will join me today to tell that story, maybe the one that you didn't know, behind the Cavenders name.
I'm Joe Cavender. I'm from Pittsburgh, Texas. It's where I grew up, went to high school, and my parents lived. But I have, after college, I moved to Tyler, and eventually moved to Bullard, Texas, where all my kids went to school.
I'm Nancy Cavender, born in Pittsburgh, Texas, and grew up there, married into the Cavender family, which is an absolutely awesome family. They're in the Western wear business, as you well know. We're in the cattle business also, Joe and I are, and we just raised our 4 children in Bullard, Texas, just right down the road from here. We have 5 grandchildren now.
My dad had a hamburger joint, I guess you'd call it, and he did that for 5-6 years, and he got tired of the late hours and decided to open a clothing store. And 1965 opened his first clothing store, and when he opened the clothing store, it was right next to the Dairy Heart, so we just spent a lot of time up there. We lived 2 miles out of town, but that was kind of the hangout around our store and where the Dairy Heart was. And Mike and I, my brother, we were a year apart, and we had Shetland ponies, and we rode those Shetland ponies. Our parents didn't babysit us; those horses did, and we'd go off on those Shetland ponies, be gone 3 hours, just riding around the pasture and everything. With my daddy expanding stores, I guess it was kind of a given that he needed Mike and I in the business, so I pretty much knew that's what I was going to do. As soon as I got out of college, I came to Tyler, and that was store number 4. And we just continued to grow in the East Texas area, and we had an opportunity to go to the Dallas-Fort Worth area and open a store there, and then opportunity arose to go to Houston. And once we got going in Dallas and Houston, we just spread out from there, and now we got stores all over Texas and 11 states, so I believe it's 11.
From humble beginnings to a nationwide Western store that began to develop its own brands. We'll talk more about the growing business next. The Cavenders name grew from those humble beginnings to eventually develop their own line of boots and clothing. But as you'll hear from Joe Cavender, they always stayed true to their roots.
When you get the size we are, you know, everybody in retail has their private brands, and our inspiration on the brand was for it to stand right beside any other brand and compete. Of course, we do offer you know, value pricing on our own line, but we think quality-wise, you know, our goal was to make it as good as anything else. And the inspiration on the JRC line, we decided instead of calling it Cavenders, let's think of another name, and JRC is my dad's initials. So, and Sons would be me and my 2 brothers.
My father-in-law, James Cavender, everybody called him JR, and so he we did this boot line in honor of him. The logo is a quail head. He was a quail hunter, loved to quail hunt, and so they did that, you know, in showing him honor.
Right now, it's mainly a more traditional type Western boot, ropers and medium round toe for the traditional consumer that doesn't want anything wild or anything. It's pretty basic and traditional, and it's got all the components of a handmade boot. And so we've been doing that 3 years now, and it's done pretty good.
The new boot line is doing great. We just introduced women into it. We had it started with the men's line. It's doing wonderful. We've started the new women's line. Of course, my favorite is the Nancy boot.
We have a name for every boot in the JRC and Son after a family member, and the boot you're wearing there is called the Nancy. We named that after my wife.
We got them named after different family members, and kind of try to match the boot to the person, but it just kind of makes it more personable, makes it special to us, and hopefully it'll be special to the customer as well.
My brother and I's name, we called those the Jose and McGill. We thought Joe and Mike was too short. We called them the Jose and McGill. We've all got a lot of pride in what we do and what we've done, and it's a great legacy to carry on and try and make this deal better and better. And I think we've, you know, between me and my brothers and all of our team of people, I think we've just carried the company further than, you know, my dad probably ever expected.
While most people know them for their Western wear in stores, there's another side of the business that has become a true labor of love for the family. We'll talk more about it next. There's something that's easy to romanticize about working as a cowboy in the cattle industry. And while the Cavender's family may have been busy growing their retail business, they were not immune to the charms of ranching.
I didn't have a ag background or anything. My dad had a few cows growing up, and Granddad at one time was in the polled Hereford business, and he ran some cattle. Anyway, I just happened to get a call one day. I had 12 black bodies at my house in Bullard and on our 30 acres, and the guy said, "Come down, I want you to look at this place," and he said, "I want you to buy it and be my neighbor." And I'd known him because his sister ran our Pittsburgh store. So anyway, I bought that ranch, 500 acres, and had Brangus cattle on it. And my dad had just bought some Brangus cattle that summer, and so I guess that's what led us to be in the Brangus business. But this Nature's River Ranch, we bought it in 2003, and that kind of led. We were at that point in time where we needed to start marketing our females and bulls, and so when we bought this ranch, about 2 years later, we were having a sale here.
Oh, it's been an awesome experience. This is our 18th sale this year, and gets a little easier every time, but it's a big deal. It takes a lot of preparation. It takes a lot of great employees that help me, and it's a very humbling experience to have a lot of people show up at our sales and support what we're doing.
My responsibilities is to work for the 7 members of Cavender Dragon Image Partners. We work on marketing, we work on breeding cattle, and I work with these guys to try to make the cattle as good as what you see behind us here in the background. We're getting ready for our annual fall production sale. We had a super night last night. We sold 90 registered females, and they averaged 97.37, and everybody's ecstatic, but it's a real tribute to the quality of cattle that these 7 partners are able to put together.
Our cattle business, CDP, Cavender Dragon Image Partners, I've known most of the guys in the partnership 15, 20 years, and we've done business for a long time together as a partnership, and we feel like we got paid personnel to run it, professional staff, and just a service that we've grown into to help other people in their cattle herds. And part of what we do, we market our own animals, but we have people that participate, send bulls to us, and help market their animals.
What we're looking to do out in the marketplace is provide a good product back to the consumer out there on both the registered and the commercial side, to make sure they get the animals that they need, the calves they need to market, and also if they want retention on heifers and stuff back into their cow herd, but just quality cattle back to the producers.
You know, we'll sell roughly 500 bulls a year through our program, 12 to 1,500 commercial lots. And then there'll be, this is our highlight sale here in November here at the Cavender's Nature's River Ranch, and we'll sell roughly 85 of the best registered females within our group. And historically, it's been a highlight of the year for the breed. As you can see, there's a large delegation of folks from all over the country, and we do have a bunch of folks here from Mexico that are going to take a bunch of bulls back across the border and some female that they purchased last night. So just in the seed stock business, raising the best Brangus cattle we can.
We help people with their breeding programs and mating their cattle, that sort of deal, and that's the fun part, is you know, trying to build drawing up the kind of animal you have pictured and visualizing it, and trying to make that perfect animal. And when you do hit on the really, really good ones, it's very rewarding.
I've been in this business my entire life, but where we've really gained some market share, we've been retaining ownership in a good number of our steers. And so we've got a pretty good bank of carcass data put together, feed and carcass data, and we're really hitting the marks. So to be able to not only say these are good cattle, but have the proof documented, it's a big deal. And we really feel like we're on the right path.
My mentor in the cattle business taught me, you know, uniformity and consistency is once you achieve that, that's where you want to go in the cattle business. So that's what I see happening, is by using certain sire lines and not spread out too far and wide and jumping around, building consistent sire lines and then crossing them back to other sire lines you got, and sooner or later, you know, you start having uniformity. You don't have a lot of up and down size-wise and type and kind, even though we do still have variety of different animals, but you know, you just like drive out there in the pasture and see cattle that look like peas in a pod, and that's some of the things I think we've accomplished. And when you get to that point too, you're able to sell your animals and breed your animals and feel like you're not going to get a lot of surprises, and they are going to breed like they look.
The Cavenders family are now an established name in the cattle industry, but they know that just like fashion, you always have to be moving forward. We'll look to the future next. You may not think that fashion and Brangus cattle would go hand in hand, but through the years, the Cavenders family has used lessons learned from one to help the other.
18 years ago, had our first sale, and it was a cold December day, and we didn't even have walls in this building here. It was just tarps and temporary ring, temporary bleachers, and now we got walls in the building and better pens. We built pens out there. We just got through selling 570 commercial females yesterday, and sold 95 registered female lots last night, and I think today we're going to sell somewhere close to 270 Brangus bulls and 30-something Charolais bulls. So it's just taken years and years to build this sale up, and we're just tickled to death. The crowd we got here this weekend, we are somewhat in drought conditions in Texas, and you know, when you ask what we go through, middle of summer, we didn't know if you was going to be able to sell a bull in Texas. It was that dry, and so we have worked other areas of the country harder, and we can't depend on just Texas to in this business. So we got, I don't know how many states we have people coming from, but usually it's around 13, 14 states. Is it nerve-wracking sale week? I remember the first few, it was, and we didn't know on a couple of sales there that we wasn't going to cancel because of weather. It was, so yeah, you go through some hairy moments, and you know, you can have a tough buying crowd some years if the commercial market's out of favor, and so that's just the ups and downs of the cattle business, what you go through. With our organization, I think we're close to the peak. We do have to generate enough sales to be able to afford our personnel, professional personnel, and you know, if we can accomplish that, and you know, some people just chase numbers, want to sell thousands. We got a number. I don't know exactly what that number is, but pretty close to what it is, what we feel like that we can sell a year, and we have grown a lot in the last 2 years, and we've got a lot more bulls to sell next year. So you know, you can't make too many of them, but I think our goal is to keep quality up, maintain good standards, and not make an oversupply where you're discounting everything, and because it costs too much money to develop these, and time, money, and effort, and you know, it's no fun to be oversupplied and not have a market for them. So that's one of the challenges for everybody in the beef business.
I'm absolutely honored to be part of the Cavender team. They're great people, very family oriented. They've been really good to me and really good to people I work with.
What my dad and his brothers and their father and mother accomplished, I mean, it's just, like I said, it's truly remarkable.
These guys are super to work with. They've got high quality cattle, and being a part of this really means a lot to me.
It means a lot. They're good cow people, they're down to earth, and I like that. I like salt of the earth type of people, so it means a lot to be involved.
The legacy that my dad created in the Western business, it is something we're proud of and want to carry on and make it better, and everybody's proud of it. My kids, the whole family's proud of the heritage we've got in this Western business, and been around so long that it is a widely recognized name brand. And how does being in the Western business tie in with the cattle business? I think being a merchant helps me a little bit in the cattle business as well, knowing how to be a merchandiser, and that's kind of part of what this sale's all about, is being good merchandisers on cattle, and having the commercial side of the sale. That's not widely done, and we're commercial cattle ranchers at heart, and that's where we got our start. So love the purebred side too, but we want to keep that legacy going as well.
Whether it's Western wear, boots, or cattle, the one theme that always shines through with anything Cavender's puts their name on is family. I'm Katie Lucas from the Cowboy Channel, hoping you've enjoyed getting to know the family behind that name a little better today.